We're particularly proud of the digital quilt. Imagine the countless number of survivors, patients, friends, and family who have been touched by cancer in some way. Now they have a way to connect. Take a look.
At WITF's Public Media Center in Harrisburg, the Facing Cancer Together team has developed an interactive storytelling platform.
It's called the Digital Quilt. It's a place where cancer patients, survivors, their caregivers, family, doctors, volunteers, just about anybody who's been touched with cancer can share their story in video, text, and photos by creating their own personal patch. So let's get started at facingcancertogether.witf.org. From the home page, just click on the icon. This will bring you to the digital quilt, where you'll want to take some time to explore the collection of personal stories. Each patch tells the story of a life touched by cancer in photos, words, and video. The digital quilt replicates everything that makes a handmade quilt so personal and special. They're stories that celebrate health, memorialize a loved one, or thank a caregiver or medical professional. And the cool part is that each patch becomes a part of the larger community quilt. Maybe you'd like to find other cancer survivors who share a similar story to you. So you can search in the search box, and a custom quilt of patches will be returned for you to explore. Next, it's time for you to share your story. So this is my friend Andy. He was diagnosed with testicular cancer this past Christmas Eve, and he just completed his last round of chemotherapy a week ago. So I want to create a patch for him to celebrate what a great guy he is and the brave journey that he's been on. So let me show you how it's done. Making your own custom patch is easy. Click on the Login Sign Up button to start your own patch creation. Type in your email address and a password. When you log in again, you can edit the patches you create. Next, click on Create Quilt Patch and choose a template for your patch. Once it's highlighted, click the Next button to continue. Click on the gray boxes to upload content. We'll add an image. Navigate to where your pictures are located on your computer and choose one. Wait a moment while your photo uploads. Click Next to continue. Now you can add text to your patch. Add a descriptive title and the story, and you're ready to share how cancer has touched your life or the life of someone you know. Tag your patch so that it will be searchable by people exploring the quilt. Click Complete to be brought back to the main menu. Make sure to share it with your family and friends via email, Facebook, or Twitter. That's easy to do as well with the built-in sharing buttons on your patch. There's no limit to how many patches you can create. So check back often to see how the quilt evolves and changes and grows with the various stories that people from our very own community have added about how their lives have been touched with cancer. And remember, we're all in this together.
The concept of the digital quilt originated 2 years ago when we displayed panels from the AIDS quilt in the atrium here at WITF. Those quilt pieces were so filled with emotion and personal stories that we wanted to take that idea and create a digital, interactive, permanent community for people affected by cancer. And to implement our vision, we turned to Charles Palmer, Executive Director of Harrisburg University's Center for Advanced Entertainment and Learning Technologies. Charles, you've done some wonderful work for us so far. Have you ever done anything quite like the digital quilt?
No, there's nothing like this out there. So it's great to be on that sort of forefront of doing something different, especially when it involves building community.
Well, say a little bit more about building community, because it's very clear that you can tell a personal story, and we hope that thousands and thousands of people will do so. How do you see the individual patches adding up to community?
If you go back to how you introduced it, it started as sort of something in your atrium, right? A number of stories. Think of the number of stories that interacted or happened because people walked through that atrium. Now let's multiply that by everyone who will actually go online and be able to share their story or just browse through other stories. This idea of sharing experiences, sharing knowledge, sharing the good and the bad about this process or going through any experience is what will build community and what help people feel comfortable or even just find answers to what they're doing.
Technically, is it going to be complicated for a user to do this?
I'd like to say it takes you about 37 seconds.
Oh, you've timed it then, I see.
Yeah. Let's just say we have. But it's this process really of adding an image, adding a video component, or just typing out your story about someone maybe in memorandum, or maybe you're going through maybe you're going through chemo now. You want to share your experiences that way. You really just type it in and add it and click the little submit button.
We're very hopeful about this, and we wanted to expand it beyond the original intent of the AIDS quilt, which is memorialization, in order to make it celebration and thank you and all sorts of other stories as well. I'm guessing that each of you encounters fabulous stories every day in your work. Stories that people want to share about their own experiences. I'm hoping that each of you take a chance to make a patch of your own. Have you tried it yet?
Haven't tried it yet, but I could see where people would want to share their experience. Most people, as they go through, find not only the difficult times, but also the positive things that they've experienced in that, how they got to know themselves a little bit better, how they realized they were cared about oftentimes by people they didn't think that they would be. So it's not always negative. It can be positive. And we work with many people, and they want to share their stories and support others. They want to give back at a certain point of time to help other people get through the process.
That's why we're hoping people will tag their patches. So if, for example, it's a thank you to a caregiver, that there's a way that people can search those. And in visits to each of your facilities, it was very clear to us that you have many grateful patients who want to do many things, including thank people who've taken care of them.
Hearing Charles talk makes me think of art and literature, where it connects us to the past, it connects us to each other, but we can all take away our own experience, and it seems like it would wrap us together with the experience.
We're hoping that that'll be the case, and that people who have particular desires to tell or to hear particular stories will be able to connect. So, for example, Charles will be able to connect people who are interested in breast cancer, for example, to each other through this experience?
Right, as people tag things, that's how you actually go through and do your searches or find like stories. So, there are going to be so many avenues and actually, we don't know all the avenues that are going to happen. We're expecting the community to get out there and start using this tool. Find out how they want to use it and how we can actually grow it to be the exact tool that they want.
So what we're seeing right now, it may evolve.
Oh, it'll evolve. This is the long process. Again, this is the first of its kind in this region, and we just want to find how people are using it and what we can do to sort of push that forward.
It's going to be an interesting process. We've seen some patches have already loaded, that there'll be many more to come, and we are hoping that we will be able to encourage people to share it beyond the quilt itself. So how would someone share it with others who aren't at the quilt themselves?
So already the quilt has a number of patches on it as people go and create those. But after you create it, you have the ability to then share that. And you can share that via Twitter, Facebook, or probably one way that people share it the most will be through email. So you just pop up your patch, hit the little email button, add a note, and watch it go off to all your friends and your contacts.
We're very much looking forward to that, Charles. I thank you very much for all the work that you've done on that.